advanced representative fall selling strategies. Turn things over to District Manager for Boca Raton Del Rey office, Luke Miseyko. Snaps, claps.
Thank you, Andrew. I just want to start off by
Someone me to do this.
First of all, I want to start off by saying that I speak on probably 20 to 25 major conferences a year. And the one speaking slot that you never want to have is the one right after Jeff Gamboa's public speaking talk. So I would ask you guys to please just anything you learned last hour, revisit it after the conference, all right? Because I'm not going to be perfect. All right, I have Liz coming in. I'm getting interrupted right now. She's bringing me water. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. All right, I might have a couple filler words. All right, I might have a few inside jokes. All right, managers, I'll see you at the mixer. Okay, I might have a couple too many points on my slides. All right, I might, oh, by the way, another little pro Zoom tip. If you're sharing a keynote, it's kind of hard to have notes on your screen. Get yourself some slightly reflective blue light glasses, and you can look down at your notes, and it doesn't, y'all can't quite tell. All right, but just put those in the back seat for a little bit. All right, I'm fired up to do the fall selling talk here because really the fall.
Luke, I have to stop. I'm so sorry. I have to interrupt you. Masterful, because you started with a joke. That whole introduction was a joke.
That was planned, Jeff. They're not supposed to know that.
I know, but it was masterful. You have to see that. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to hit you guys with a question as well. We're going to go double whammy on the intro here. And I would just be curious, raise your hand if you've had a job while taking classes in the fall or spring before, in previous semesters. Okay, cool. It looks like a solid number of the group. And here's the deal. Most students do, right? And most jobs include having a shift where you have to go in that you have no control over your schedule. They don't include leaders that teach them time management, and I guarantee you they don't teach them time management at the level that Mike just taught you. They don't have the same flexible schedules, the same control over all that kind of stuff. And so, I want to encourage you guys, if you do this the right way, this will be the easiest job to work around your school schedule, but you got to do it the right way. Okay, because the problem with flexible schedules is this: most people don't make a schedule, right? Most people procrastinate. They literally procrastinate on procrastinating. They don't do the power hour to set up the plan, right? And really all it takes is discipline. All it takes is having a plan. It takes making the schedule, but it also takes sticking to it. I can't tell you how many times in college that I did make a schedule and I just didn't stick to it. That's not going to help you if you do that. Right? That's really one of the biggest things. And if you take nothing away from this talk today other than that, then you will have a successful fall. All you got to do is actually create the schedule and stick to it. You got to have the discipline. All right. So just to kick us off here, let's see. Here we go. Really, guys, what it comes down to, if there's one thing you implement, it's discipline. Okay. Discipline is really all that it takes. It's arguably the greatest skill that you can have. Right. Andrew and I were recording a podcast with a guy that was the trainer for the New York Yankees back when A-Rod, Derek Jeter were on there when they won the World Series. And he said a quote that really stuck with me. He said, discipline sucks. Discipline sucks, but it's the rewards of discipline that are great. And, Jeff can definitely attest to this. I have had times in college where I had a ton of discipline, and I had times in college where I didn't have as much discipline. And I will tell you right now, I had the most fun and was the most fulfilled in the times where I had discipline. I made a lot more money. My growth was so much better. And I know, one of my favorite things from Mike's message was he said, saying no to something is just saying yes to something else. And that's really what it comes down to. I guarantee you, Andrew and I had a ton of fun in college. Okay. Quite frankly, more than probably almost all of you. And we also stuck to the discipline. Really did the things that would impact our growth and really did, ended up selling in the fall, right? And really making the most of it. And it comes down to commitment is greater than motivation, all right? Because during this fall, I want to warn you guys, you will not always have motivation. I would be willing to bet probably for the majority of the fall, you probably will not have a ton of motivation. But people that are in shape are not in shape because they're motivated to go to the gym every day. It's because they committed to it. And that goes for anything that anyone is good at. And so if you don't take away anything else from the top, that's really all you need. You know, if you do that and you have the discipline to stick to the schedule, you will have a highly successful fall. So I want to cover, before we go into the body of the message and I tell you what I'm going to tell you, all right, I'm going to go over why. Why do you want to have a big fall? Really, what does it come down to? And I've got 4 points as to why you should have a big fall. All right, number one is the income opportunity. Okay, you know, if you sell, you know, it's not the same as the summer standards where you're going for 3 to 5K in a week or push period. If you just sell 750 to $1,000 a week, you know, really all that takes 3 or 4 orders. You submit 3 or 4 orders a week. That means you're going to make $200 to $300 in income per week. You know, times 15 weeks before Thanksgiving break, you'll make $3 to $5 grand in income. All right, you know, that's one thing that might motivate you is income. And one thing I'll tell you from someone that has been in the business for about 7 years now is I have friends in the business that have a lot of money, that are very comfortable financially, that are already investing in very high level things, that have more opportunity because of the money they have. And one thing that they all have in common is they don't just take the fall off. You know, they make money during the fall. You know, one of the aspects of being a 5-star recruit is having money. You know, when you have money, you can chase a dream instead of a paycheck when you graduate. Part of being a 5-star recruit is having money saved. And the fall is huge for that. And you can adjust these numbers. If you want to go for 2K a week in the fall, cool, you just double that. You make 10 grand. If you want to go for, you know, 500 a week, cool, it's a little less, probably 2-3 grand. But, you know, finding something consistent for you, it can completely change the game financially. You know, some of you will probably also make some money off the offices for those of you that are going to be on fall staff. All right. But, you know, really diving in the fall is something that can change the game for you financially. All right. Another reason to go hard. All right. TLA, specifically the matrix score. You guys don't really know about this yet, but when you get into TLA, you are ranked. Okay. It's not just about getting in. There's a ranking system. And one of the pegs on that ranking system is your fall performance. It's what are you selling during the fall? Right. Also, for those of you not getting into TLA, by the way, I have had people that came into this meeting less than $1,000 in sales and made it into TLA, made it into our management training program. You know, that could be something for you. If you're excited about being a manager and you just recently started and you haven't really thought about it, but you're like, hey, I can do it. I want to let you know you can do it. Right. It takes some solid performance in the fall. Okay. The third thing, skill development. And I love this one. I was just reading a book by a guy named Brendan Burchard, and it's called High Performance Habits. And it's the biggest study ever done on high performers. What is a high performer? Someone that sees consistently excellent results, not just in their business, but also personally with their happiness, with their relationships. And they did a study of people that are high performers, people that saw long-term results. And they asked them the question, they asked everyone they interviewed, including high performers and non-high performers. They said, you know, what are the top 2 to 3 skills that you are working on that you're going to need in the next 3 to 5 years? And high performers were all able to answer that question immediately. And they said, if I looked at your planner, you know, whether or not you're looking to develop, you know, the people that were not high performers took on average 11 seconds longer to answer that question. Right? Use the opportunity to develop your skill set. No matter what you want to do, I guarantee you that learning sales and the art of influence, that's ultimately what sales is. Learning influence, I believe influence and leadership are the top 2 skills that you can use that will help you be highly successful no matter what you're going into. I don't care if you're going into business, medical, marine biology, engineering. If you have leadership and influence and you develop those skills, you will be highly successful at no matter what you do. Put those on your list for the fall. You know, work hard in the fall to intentionally not just make the money, not just to increase your ranking in TLA, but actively learn. You know, really study how you're doing the appointments, debrief every single appointment. You learn something new every single day. You know, skill development, you know, the people that are, you know, really the CSPs in our business, the people that sell the most on average, have the highest average orders, that have the highest closing ratios, they didn't just do it over summers. They did it in the fall. They were students of themselves. All right. And the last one is the most important one. And that is learn to spin your plates. Have you ever seen this before? There's I believe it's for the Houston Rockets. They got this Asian chick that sits on like some sort of stick or something and spins a bunch of plates. It's super crazy. It's insane. And she has to spin all these different plates. There's multiple plates she's spinning at once. right? And, you know, so you'll see her balancing, and then you see you go spin one over here and then spin one over there and so on and so forth. And she has to balance all the different things going on. And I've talked about this in TLA talks before, but there is no future employer that wants someone that is just a student. School is important. And as your managers, we are happy to have you guys keep that as a number one priority if that's what's important to you. But that doesn't mean you neglect everything else. You got to learn to spin the plates. You got to learn to keep up your family life. You got to learn to develop a relationship with your significant other. You got to learn how to keep up your professional life, because when you guys are older, you're not going to be just in your career. You're going to have a family. You're going to be a mom or dad. You're going to have a significant other. You're going to have, you know, whatever you do faith-wise. You're going to have however you want to impact your community. And one of the greatest skills that you can develop this fall is learning how to spin your plates. You know, I cannot stress the long-term effect that that can have for you if you really learn to do it the right way. All right, so nobody wants someone that's just a student. Challenge yourself to excel in multiple areas. All right, it's no good to go out there and be the best in what you do in your career if your family life is falling apart. It's no good to be chiseled and in shape if you're broke. Quite frankly, you got to learn to spin all these things, and that's what's going to help you be highly successful in the future. So there's a lot of long-term, you know, there's short-term value with the income, with TLA ranking. There's long-term value with your skill development and learning how to spin your plates. So now it's time for the major key alert. Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about planning and scheduling. We're going to briefly talk about that because Mike covered it better than I ever could. But we'll go over, you know, a few things to reiterate from that. We're going to go over client acquisition throughout the fall. We're going to go over consistency and then accountability. All right. And so first of all, planning. When it comes to planning, I've got a few, and by the way, this keynote is just going to be bullet point of easy things for you guys to implement. Here's the deal: is we are going to give you the tools to be successful, and you just have to make a choice to do it. All right. So when I think of planning, the first thing that's most important every fall is, do you actually have your weekly power hour? Do you actually have your weekly power hour? And guys, if you do this the right way, guess what? Your grades will get better as you perform at a higher level in the fall. You know, it's really funny. You know, we as managers, we've managed people through the fall. Typically, the ones that excel the most with Cutco are also the ones with the best grades. Why? Because they're doing this. They have their weekly power hour. They know their priorities. They're planning around it. Right? Once you have in all of your priorities, here are the Cutco things. There's 3 things Cutco-wise that you need to make sure you have in your schedule every single week. As you go into the week, have these set in stone ahead of time. These are the things you cannot just do on the fly. You got to do it weekly power hour. You got to have your demo openings. You got to have your phone time. You got to have the meetings. You got those 3 things, guys, it's going to be easy. It's going to be easy. But what happens is if someone just neglects one of these 3, all right, you know, I always laugh at the people that, you know, go in and just don't really know when their demo openings are. They're like, well, I'm going to schedule it when I'm available. And then all of a sudden, you know, they schedule them all for the night that they have to study because they didn't prioritize their time. They didn't realize what they're supposed to do, or vice versa. All right. So I have these 3 in your schedule, 3 things in your schedule consistently every single week. All right. Number 3, you got to stick to it. I mentioned this in the beginning, but I can't tell you how many times, I mean, as I was kind of first learning time management, I can't tell you how many times I made this beautiful planner, everything, you know, for the next 3 weeks. I knew every minute to the minute what I was doing. I did this on Sunday, and I go into Monday and I just do something completely different. I'm telling you, like, there's no point in planning if you're going to do that, right? So stick to it. Stick to it. Here's an easy way to stick to it that I would highly suggest for you guys. Have a personal accountability system. Have a personal accountability system. What I mean by that is, you know, one thing I've started doing recently that has been a game changer for me is just journaling in the morning and journaling at night. In the morning, I'm setting my intention, seeing what I want to get done for the day. All right. I've got a brand new planner that does this for me and gives me the prompts to do it based off that Brendan Burchard book. It's fantastic. And then it's also an evaluation at night, you know, but it's easy to go down a path where you lose momentum if you're not paying attention to what you're actually doing. Some people just go out and do it and never think about what they're doing. Right? They never evaluate, right? At the end of the day, I'll rate myself scale 1 to 10. How intentional was I with my time today? How closely did I stick to my planner? Right? And when you have 2, 3, 4 days back to back, where you're sitting between a 1 and a 4 on that scale of 1 to 10, you know, okay, cool. What's my priority moving forward? Well, just stick to the planner. Like, let's get back on it. Don't lose momentum. but have some sort of personal accountability system where you are evaluating yourself to make sure, are you sticking to doing what you say you're going to do? And by the way, that's how you build confidence as a human being. You know, some people lack confidence, and we talked a lot about this on our alliance, is the easiest way to build confidence is just keep promises to yourself. When you keep promises to yourself, when you do what you say you're going to do, you become a more confident person. You're able to handle a lot more. You're able to spin a lot more plates. So set up personal accountability system. All right. Got the schedule examples that Mike showed you, but I put some funny names on them. So here we go. Here's an easy one, the weekend warrior. All right. The weekend warrior is someone that's got school and they just got to study all week. All right. These are, these would be the engineering majors, probably something like that. These would be the pre-med majors. Okay. The ones that you just need a lot of study time. You're only going to send it once for the week, but you're going to maximize weekends. That could be an option for you. All right. I would go ahead and screenshot this. I could send them into the group chats if you want at the end of this, but there's the weekend warrior. Okay. The next one I call the business major. All right. This was my schedule. Okay. The business major is the one that, let's be real, no offense if you're a business major, but you're not working as hard as the engineering. Okay. And you can probably do something a little consistently throughout the week. And you're probably a business major because you want to have some fun. And so this is just taking weekends totally off. On Saturday, Lord willing, hopefully we get that SEC football back. And if we do, it's going to be a full send on Saturday. And that's okay if you learn how to plan it the right way. And then on Sunday, if SEC football is back, if you do it the right way, you're going to need some recovery time. All right. And for recovery time, you might have to take all of Sunday to do that before the PSP meeting. And then here's a way that you can consistently fit 7 to 10 appointments into your schedule every single week. All right. There's no excuse as to why someone can't fit 5 to 7 appointments for the week. All right. The next one is kind of a mix of the two. I call it the Sunday bruncher. All right. You like to send it on Sundays. Okay. This could be just doing a few appointments on a Saturday and then, interspersed a couple times after school and after homework throughout the week. But choose one of these that's right for you. Okay. The business major, the Sunday bruncher, the weekend warrior, whatever it might be. Find a schedule and keep it consistent. Keep it as, it's not going to stay consistent every single time throughout the fall. Don't let 1 week of inconsistency derail you, but find something that works for you and stick to it. Set that kind of plan with your manager. I would have during the summer, what I love about the summer and time management is it becomes a lot easier because my schedule is very similar on a week-to-week basis. The more that you can make things routine, the easier things will be for you. All right. Now let's talk about some client acquisition. Here's the deal, guys, is like I said, you're not always going to be motivated during the fall. Okay. You're going to have to rely on commitment a little bit. But one thing that's really, really important is you got to have people to call, right? If you have people to call, it's a lot easier to be motivated. If you don't have people to call, it's a lot easier to not get motivated. This is something that skill set wise within Cutco needs to become your number one priority in the fall. It's client acquisition. How do you build your attack list, expand your names and numbers? The job is way easier when you're going into a phone jam with hundreds of people to call. When you got all these awesome prospects that you can reach out to, you're more excited. Right after that appointment where you get the super fire X where the guy puts the money signs right next to everyone's name, you're fired up to do that phone jam. Well, you can create that for yourself within the fall. But if you are feeling down, you're feeling inconsistent, you're getting, you feel like, oh, like I want to just drop everything. Well, it's a lot harder to get over that when you barely have anyone to call. All right. And you have a huge opportunity in front of you in the fall of getting a bunch of new customers. All right. So first of all, skill set wise, become a recommendations master. I think that one's an obvious. Okay, if you're not good at this, I would be watching, ask your manager for extra videos, do whatever you got to do. If you haven't memorized the recommendation approach, get that done. It's, shorter than the Pledge of Allegiance. You can do it. Okay. Get a skills check from your manager. Do whatever you got to do. By the way, just a side note on recommendations, I find the number one thing that holds people back is you don't just actually implement the things that we go over. You're scared to ask certain things. You're scared to take the next step or do things really the right way. And I know that because that was me as a rep when I started. When I was really not very good at Rex, I was like, why am I not good at Rex? Why am I not good at Rex? I'm like, I'm doing everything my manager says. And then one of my managers came he came field training with me. He saw one of my demos. And they were like, you didn't do anything we go over, right? Just implement the things we go over. I guarantee you it works. It's crazy how that works. All right. Number 2, here's a huge one you may not have thought about, but weekly prospecting. Not all of your people have to come for recommendations. And in the fall, a lot of you are going to be meeting new people through classes. You can show all their parents. A lot of you are going to have new professors. You can show all their parents. A lot of you are going to be in clubs or sororities or fraternities, whatever. You can show all their parents. You guys can easily do a new names list exercise, just like we did in training, and Come up with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that you will come in contact with in the fall that you didn't know over the summer. And I would make it a weekly thing. On a week-to-week basis, I would probably couple this up with Power Hour, all right? And I would update your queue, but I would also spend some time just doing a names list exercise. Who are some other people that I can think of? Don't worry about getting the numbers first. Just write down as many names as you can, and then make it a mission to go out and get the numbers, right? But make this part of your weekly schedule, even if it's just 15, 20 minutes, something like that. Make it a part of your weekly schedule. You can completely change the name of the game for your business, all right? Another thing, I was talking to Mike about this, and he loves talking about systemizing your business. All right. You can start building a brand for yourself. You can start building a brand through social media, start generating, a system that's going to just continuously get you customers, right? Or continuously get you repeat orders. Okay. Can you send out Facebook messages, Instagram messages? There are more and more moms on Instagram now than there ever been. Moms are starting to move over to Instagram a little bit more. Could you just send out like 10 messages a day? Even if they don't respond, cool. Who cares, right? Send out the message. You literally got nothing to lose. Just send a message. Send messages out. Try to get some demos through that. All right. Facebook branding. If you don't have a Facebook, I would get a Facebook. You should be on Facebook because that's where all the soccer moms are. And guess what? None of your friends are checking Facebook. So it does, you don't need to post pictures from the party or the tailgates or whatever it is. Use it as a branding tool. Be posting Cutco usage, right? Just make some videos of you cutting stuff, or friends taking pictures of you cutting stuff. Cooking in the new college apartment, you have Cutco, right? Start getting the name out there. Client testimonials, right? You can do this. This is something you can do every single appointment, right? Follow up with them after they get their order and get a testimonial from every single one of your customers and start posting those on Facebook, right? Other soccer moms will see that, and you'll start booking appointments through that. Update your goals. If you're just friends with all soccer moms on Facebook, update your goals. How you're doing with Cutco. Oh my gosh, just got into the Leadership Academy. So excited to go run a branch next summer. You were just sharing your goals with all these people. When they see that, they're going to get bought into you. And then when Christmas season comes around and they go to get their Christmas gifts, you might be one of the first people they think of. You can generate a few $1,000 orders just from that. All right. So focus on client acquisition. Number one skill that you got to have during the fall. It's going to make your job a whole lot easier if you can prioritize this. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is consistency. Consistency is key in the fall, right? In the summer, guys, it's kind of all over the place, right? You have SC1 push or you have your fast start, right? Where you're just going all out. And then maybe it dies back a little bit and all of a sudden it's SC1. And then maybe it dies back a little bit and then all of a sudden it's SC2. And then all of a sudden I'm gunning for a TLA spot. All right. Now there's going to be a few of you gunning for A-player spots here pretty soon. And it can be kind of inconsistent. In the fall, the key is consistency. All right, so I want to go over a few consistent habits that you can have that'll significantly increase your business. All right, this one is from Mike. It's called the 10 by 10. Can you just fit in 10 calls and 10 messages a day? Realistically, guys, how long does it take to make 10 calls? 20 minutes. If you can't find 20 minutes for your day, you're just not looking hard enough. Like you're definitely you can get 20 minutes in there. You can do 10 phone calls. It's not too difficult. And if you break it down in smaller chunks like that, it's way easier. Just have the discipline. Like, hey, whether or not I book a demo, let's just make 10 calls. Make 10 quick calls. Make it easy on yourself. All right. Send out 10 messages on Facebook or Instagram trying to get numbers or trying to book appointments. Okay. So this first thing you need in consistency is some sort of daily routine. Or it doesn't even have to be every single day. You can make it just on weekdays or something like that. All right. But find a routine and just have little chunks like that. Okay. 2 major phone jams a week. 2 major phone jams a week. Okay. So if you're doing 10 every day, let's say on 5 days, right, that's 50 calls. And then 2 major phone jams with 30 to 50 calls. That's about anywhere from 100 to 150 calls. You can schedule 10 to 15 appointments doing that. If you're booking 1 every 10, that's generally what people's ratio is. Okay. And that makes it really easy. 2 major phone jams a week. Just along, right under that umbrella is meeting attendance. Okay. Are you consistently on Wednesdays and Sundays? Guys, I will be straightforward with you. I have never seen a successful rep in the fall, at least in their first year. I have never seen a successful rep in the fall that didn't just consistently make it to meetings. If you prioritize those, it's going to happen. And by the way, there's going to be times where your friends maybe want to go out right on a Wednesday night. We're going to end around 9:15. All right. By the way, if they're having that much fun before 9:15, I'm telling you, you're in a lame group of friends. Okay. Just go out after. right? But here's the deal, guys, is like just going to these meetings will be a game changer for you. And here's the thing is it's not just about making the phone calls at the meeting. It's not just about getting the value from the meeting. But you know how we say later means never? You know when a customer tells you, oh, honey, we want it later? You know why it means never? They might have full intention to buy in the moment, but it means never because all the value that they have in it drops. When you aren't going to meetings, guess what? The value that you have in the job drops. You don't remember the paychecks. You don't remember TLA. You don't remember the growth. You don't remember the morning alliances where you were growing so much and you were crying together and everyone's being vulnerable and you love the community. You remember the phone calls. You remember the no sales. That's what it comes down to. And if you're just at meetings, kind of getting that re-spurt of like, oh, cool, yeah, this is why I'm here. Like, oh, yeah, here's my squad. It will keep you engaged, right? And so you might have to say no to a thing or two on Wednesday nights. Okay, but I'm telling you right now, if that meant $3 to $5 grand in income, if you make it to every meeting, you're going to have a successful fall. All right, so if I paid you $3 to $5 grand to just block out Wednesday nights for the next 13 weeks, would you do it? 13 weeks, block out Wednesday nights. $5 grand. Well, yeah, probably. Well, I find the problem with people when they do entrepreneurial type jobs like this, they never draw that connection. That's essentially what it comes down to. Prioritize just making it to those meetings. Okay. Number 4, consistency. Consistent power hour and queue updates. Consistent power hour and queue updates. Don't let things get out of hand, right? Don't have the pile of recs on your spreadsheet or whatever it is and not get them on a queue. Just have a set aside time each week. I would probably suggest about 2 power hours a week. That can really make a difference for you. All right. And the last one, guys, this is a huge game changer for me when I was in college. This is really what flipped the switch for me, when it came to increasing my discipline, when it came to growing, when it came to consistency with these things, is feed your mind. Feed your mind with some of the right stuff. I'm not saying you're not allowed to watch Netflix or movies or sports or anything like that, but set aside a little time each day for some growth audio. Get reading. All right. I was talking to someone recently that, we were having a conversation and I didn't even tell them. And they just asked me, like, Luke, are you reading again? I'm like, yeah. How do you know? Like, I just tell. You got more energy. You're speaking better, like all this kind of stuff. And it's just a game changer, guys. It's literally exercise for your mind. Even if it's like 10 minutes, even if it's a 10-minute audio or visual or podcast, even if it's just 10 minutes, reading one chapter of a book, this will be a game changer for you. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you on point, right? Make this part of your daily routine, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes, okay? If you need a good podcast to listen to, Ace Weekly. Ace Weekly is a great one. I hear the guys on there are awesome. All right. So consistency. Next one, huge one, accountability. Okay. Accountability. First of all, have accountability with your manager. Communicate at a high level. Okay. Take advantage of us. We are here to help you guys, not hurt you guys. We are not here to tank your grades. We are not here to take you away from a social life. I want to help you guys maximize all of those things. Right. So take advantage of the knowledge that we have. There are multiple managers on this call that pay thousands of dollars a month for personal growth coaching. We're free. In fact, we'll even pay you, believe it or not. Right? So take advantage of the knowledge and the coaching that you guys have access to. Increase manager communication. Summer is the biggest time of year for us, right? But I'll tell you what, communication becomes even more important in the fall, especially one-on-one communication, right? Get a weekly one-on-one with either a manager or an assistant manager in your office, right? This is something that we're going to start implementing. I know in our office, we're going to get a one-on-one with everyone every single week to just set a game plan, see how things are going, see what needs to be adjusted, all right? But have high levels of accountability, specifically with your manager, high levels of communication, okay? Number 2, find a running mate. I love this one. I reached out to a lot of top managers before the stock, just be like, what are your biggest keys on selling in the fall? And this one that Mila gave me that really struck me. And it's find a running mate. Have someone that you can do it with. It gets, I saw, there's a quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Find a running mate, right? Find someone else that can hold you accountable that you can do it with, right? That's why Alliance both sucks and is awesome at the same time. It's because you're doing it with so many other people that it makes it a lot easier. It's hard to give up, or it's easy to give up on yourself. It's hard to give up on others. Find someone in your office. Doesn't even have to be in your office. Could be someone you meet through TLA here in a little bit. All right, but find someone that you can go forward with. Someone to hold you accountable. Someone that's going to be working on the same things with similar goals. All right. And number 3 is what I was talking about before. Have an accountability system. All right. Set up a system to where are you constantly evaluating yourself? Are you doing either a nightly debrief or a weekly debrief? Okay. Are you constantly debriefing as to, hey, how closely did I stick to my plan? How did I do this week? But just paying attention to the numbers, paying attention to the results will automatically increase them. I find a lot of times where people go off in the fall and they kind of start to drop off. What happens is they just stop paying attention to the numbers. They're just kind of winging it. They're like, I'll do appointments when I can. Right? That is the kiss of death in the fall, is if you just say, I'll do it when I can. Because there's never going to be a fully convenient time to do anything. Right? But if you make it happen, you'll make it happen. Right? So have an accountability system for yourself. All right. Here's an easy way to have an accountability system. Journaling, debrief, planning. Right? Those are the stuff I've been talking about. All right. Here's another thing that I think is really important to have your own accountability system in the fall. Sorry, Jeff, but I had to do it. Have an oh shit plan. All right. Have an oh shit plan. Okay. This is any time that you start to feel overwhelmed. You're like, oh shit, I got a team meeting tonight. Or any time that you don't, anytime your results start to drop, you're like, oh shit, I'm not really feeling this anymore. All right. What you need is a non-negotiable plan for when poop hits the fan, because avoidance is the worst thing that you can do. Avoidance is the worst thing that you can do anytime you want to hold yourself accountable to anything. Okay. Here's, structure it this way. There's 3 things that need to happen anytime either your results fall off significantly, you have some sort of oh shit moment, you don't know what's going on, you're feeling overwhelmed. Easiest way to handle it, write this down and create your version of this. Communication, plan, action. That's all it takes. Communication, plan, action. Communicate with the manager. Communicate with the running mate. All right. Be open about it. Don't avoid it. All right. We're here to help you, not hurt you. Okay. Make a plan. Make a plan coming out of it and take some immediate action. It doesn't mean you need to go off and make thousands of phone calls. Okay. But have some sort of immediate action to start getting the ball rolling, to start building that kind of momentum. That's how you work out of it. Okay. For those of you that get into TLA, we're going to talk about D2 phase. This is also how you get out of something called D2 phase. All right. You communicate with someone, you set a plan, you drive into action. Okay. One of the greatest things I heard on an Ed Milet podcast recently was when my anxiety increases or my stress increases, my action increases. Easiest way to get rid of it, drive into action of some sort, even if you have to force yourself to do it. But that's the decision train that Jeff and Andrew talk about, right? Make the decision, commit, and let that drive how you feel rather than leaving with your feelings. Okay. Set goals. Set goals for the fall. This is another, I think, kiss of death is when people don't set any goals for themselves. They just go out and kind of do what they got to do. Okay. Have a full fall goal, right? What is your goal for the rest of the campaign, or what do you want to finish off at it by the end of the year, and attach a why to the goal. Okay. We do this for Alliance. Take what you learned in Alliance or take what you've learned in your team meetings and apply it long-term. Apply it to the actual campaign. Okay. Why? Why are you doing what you're doing? Okay. Why is that goal really significant? Okay. For me, I went through one period where I lost about 40 pounds. And I tried to lose weight a lot before that. What was the difference for me is before I was just trying to lose weight to look better. And once I started viewing it as increasing my energy, and once I started viewing it as, getting in shape increases my energy and makes me better at everything else that I do in my life, I started to take it a lot more seriously. All right. We talked about that at our team meeting last night in Boca. Okay. Energy is so important. Same thing goes for your fall goal, right? Is there a huge financial goal that you're going after? Okay. Are you going after the best version of yourself so you can accomplish your goals and your dreams? We'll use this as a microcosm for hitting those kinds of bigger goals. Attach a strong why to it that will keep you engaged. And then set up micro goals. Set up goals on a week-to-week basis that are going to help get you there. Right? Whether it be weekly or we'll have a couple push periods. Okay. They're not quite the same as like SC2. It's not like we have, it's not as intense, but there are push periods. There are times you want to go a little harder than others. Okay. And set goals for those as well. All right. Set your weekly action plan based on those micro goals, and then set up benchmarks throughout the semester, throughout the campaign when you have to kind of readjust. All right. Here's another big one for goals is set constant reminders. I know in Alliance, we constantly do things like, hey, write your goals on a sticky note or piece of paper hanging above where you do your demos. Okay. Yeah. I think there's 3 levels of this. Okay. If you kind of want to just do it, write your goals down somewhere and have it like, I don't know. I like bathroom mirror. I love having it on a bathroom mirror because you look at it every day and you're reminded of it. That's level number 1. If you want to take it up a notch, Write down your goals every single day. It's huge. Write down your goals every single day. Keeps it on the forefront of your mind. Triggers your reticular activating system to do things that are going actually towards those goals versus just forgetting about them. Level 3, the best level, where I think if you implement this, it's a little weird, but if you want to be successful, you got to do the stuff you once thought was weird. Affirmations. Affirmations are key. You know, it literally retrains your subconscious. Go out and, you know, create some affirmations for yourself that you can say every single day, and literally just program you to go start hitting goals. Okay, so set goals in the fall. All right. And guys, that's really what it comes down to. You know, I would say as we leave here immediately, here's one of the most important things you can do. Do not wait. Do not wait. Another kiss of death in the fall. What happens is people go into school and they're like, hey, Luke, I've talked about this before. Hey, Luke, I just want to get settled. I just want to settle in, see how everything is, see how the classes are, how the workload is. You know, meet some new people, whatever it is, get settled, right? Well, here's what getting settled is. It's getting settled into the wrong freaking routine, right? People are creatures of habit. Make it a habit to incorporate this in your business. Make it a habit to plan like Mike just taught you to plan, okay? If you do that for about a month, it'll start to stick. You do that for 60 days, it'll start to stick even more. You do it for 90 days, you'll probably end up doing it for the rest of your life. All right, so don't wait. The worst thing you can do is wait. The worst thing you can do is get settled. Right? Because getting settled should include the stuff that you care about. If you want to make this a priority, you just go out and do it. Go out and do it. Okay? Maximize syllabus week. I would say probably do a little more than you normally do syllabus week. All right? You know, we have an opportunity to sell more than we ever have in fall for multiple reasons. Things are virtual now. Your client base can be anywhere. Back in the day, by the way, I was doing live demos. Listen to this. I would do all my demos in Boca Raton, in Fort Lauderdale, in Miami. Quite frankly, 3 of the richest spots in all of America. It was awesome. I love doing demos around here. And then I move up to Gainesville, Florida, where there are about 8 people that you can do demos with. It was pretty tough. One was the football coach, one's the basketball coach, and the other 6 are the high-level professors. And they're hard to get in contact with. Now you can do demos with anyone everywhere. Right? The fall selling opportunity is greater than it's ever been. It's time to maximize on this. Right? It's so much easier now than it's ever been. I used to have to drive to appointments. You know where we do appointments in Gainesville? If we did them, we would go down to Ocala. It'd be like a 45-minute drive. And then it's another 20-minute drive up their damn driveway because you're on a horse farm. All right? And so doing them virtually, you literally hop on Zoom with the soccer mom for 45 minutes and you're done. If you can't fit that into your schedule, then you need to go all out in the fall because you got to learn how to make a damn schedule. It's not too difficult, but you cannot wait. You cannot wait. You got to go into action. You got to have a game plan as you get there. You can't get settled. All right. And I would take a picture of these. I'm breaking one of Jeff's public speaking rules. I got some full sentences on the next slide. So if you want to buckle your seatbelts, I'm so sorry. Okay. You can just take a picture. You don't have to write down the whole thing. But here is what you are going to tell yourself when things get tough. You're going to tell yourself this is hard. You're going to tell yourself, I don't know if I can balance this. You're going to tell yourself, I'm not very good at this. You're going to tell yourself, is this even worth it? You're going to tell yourself, oh, I just want to be a student, or I want to prioritize my social life. And I'm telling you right now that that's bullshit. You know, that's the judge in your head. That's the judge in your head trying to fabricate a story for you. Because here's reality. In reality, this job is easier to work around school than any job you could possibly have in the fall. It's going to take some challenge. You know, it's going to take some challenge on the job itself, but time-wise, this will be the easiest job you could ever work around in the fall if you just do it the right way, if you have the discipline, if you make the schedule. It just takes discipline. It just takes consistency. It just takes accountability. So, guys, you have the tools that you need to be successful. You know, this is going to be easy if you make it easy. You know, you have everything you need to make this work. There is nothing innately about you that cannot do this. You can do this, and you can do this at a high level. Some of you will continue going at the same pace you did over the summer. You know, about half of you are already taking classes right now. Some of you have pretty intense schedules, and you're used to this, and I'm so excited for you guys because you're going to go out and crush it in the fall. But you just have to make a decision. Make a decision to make it work. That's really what it takes. Because when you half-ass it, that's when it doesn't work. If you make a decision to make it work, you make a decision to put in your power hour planning every week. If you make a decision to keep communication high with your manager, if you make a decision to find a running mate that holds you accountable, if you make a decision to set up a personal accountability system, you make a decision to make phone calls every day, you make a decision to make sure you're at every single meeting, then you will be successful in the fall, and it really will not be that hard. But you got to make that decision. That's ultimately what it comes down to. That's what we got. Thank you, guys.
All right, everybody. How about some claps, snaps, thanks, daps? Take a few moments. Quick debrief. Go ahead and write down some quick light bulbs. Take a few short moments.